Hello everyone, welcome to DVxUI. Today in this video we are going to create this innovative design in Figma and we are going to learn a lot about UI UX designing in Figma. So let's start. Well, before starting I want to tell you about a group which is basically a Telegram group that I have created for you all. In this community what we are going to do is we are going to learn, share and grow together. This is to help all the newbies to learn how to design and how to collaborate. So find the link in the description and join it ASAP. I'm waiting for you. Now let's go back to the YouTube and start designing. Before moving forward, let me give you a brief about this screen. So over here we have our pages. You can create your page by clicking on this plus icon, and here we have our layers. And the only layer that I have here is resources, which I'm definitely gonna show you now. On the right panel, you can see we have the styling properties. If you draw an element on this screen, the properties will appear with which you can change the styling of this element. Suppose if I want to provide corner radius, I can say 100 and this will provide corner radius. So you got the idea that this will provide the styling. Let's delete it, and you must have noticed that on this black box when I press delete, the delete has appeared. So the job of this black box is to say the key loud which I am pressing. This will help you understand which shortcuts I am using and for what purpose. Now let's start. So the very first step that we have here is to get a frame. So to get a frame, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this grid icon which says frame, or what you can do is you can press F, and now we have all the frames over here. Among them I'm going to select a desktop and I'm going to provide a corner radius to this. Let's give it a corner radius of 24. So now our frame is ready and it is waiting for the picture. And now it is time to show you my resources. So for the resources, I'm going to double click on this grid icon over here. And here we have our resources. So as you can see over here, we have this shoes picture with the background, and here we have a PNG of it. Then we have some styling elements and the colors over here. Now let me tell you from where you can get your pictures. I'm also going to provide the link to download these resources in my Telegram group. You can join it and download it from there. But I'm also going to tell you from where you can get your resources. Open a new tab and write free pick. Well, let's remove this pizza and type future shoes. This is the keyword that I use to find that picture, and let's scroll it a bit. And as you can see, we have a lot of pictures that we can use and create innovative designs. As you can see, this picture also looks great, which is AI generated. You can take this picture and turn it into something beautiful. And you can also remove the background by hitting on this remove background icon. And you have other tools as well. Now as you can see, the background has been removed, and now you can surely download this picture and use it in your design. But let's move back to Figma and start designing. So the very first step is I'm going to grab this shoes, which is a transparent one. I'm going to copy it and paste it on my desktop. Let's align it by using this alignment tool. So I'm going to first align it horizontally, and then I'm going to align it vertically at the center. Now it is at the center. Now I want to provide a color to this desktop frame. For that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this fill, and here I'm going to select a gradient, because in this design I'm going to create a background gradient. So click it and we have a gradient applied on the frame. Now for the starting color, I'm going to choose a darker color, and for the bottom color I'm going to choose a lighter color. And our colors are also mentioned on the resources page, as you can see. Let's head back, and now we have a beautiful gradient on our frame. Now if you might be wondering that how I decide my colors, then it is highly dependent on the picture. As you can see, this picture has overall feel of a purple or a bluish hue. That is why choosing a color between blue or a violet is a wise choice. So this is how I decide my colors. It is completely dependent on picture. You can also choose your colors or different colors as well, as far as it looks good. Now moving to the next step, we need to provide some border to this text of frame. For that, select the frame and go to stroke. Here for the weight part, I'm going to select 4, and for the color, I'm going to write FF, which is a hex code for the white color. Now it looks even better. Now we need to design the nav bar of this hero section. So for that, let me first lock this picture, otherwise it is going to keep interrupting us while designing. So let's lock it here, and let's also change the name. Let's say shoes, not shoes, but it is a shoe, so grammatically correct. Now let's take another frame and randomly put it over here. Provide a fill, and let's change the dimension of this frame from here. Now for the width part, I'm going to provide a width of 758 and the height is going to be 72. And the corner radius is also going to be 72. Let's position it by using this alignment tool. So I'm going to place it horizontally center. It is done. Now if you select this nav bar frame and hold Alt button and move your cursor to the outside of this nav bar frame, to this hero section frame, you will see a gap of 29 has been given on the top of the nav bar. But we want to reduce it. So for that, let's move it 5 pixels up. Now let's check again. And we have a gap of 24 pixels, which looks perfect. Now let's provide some styling to this. For that, I'm going to select gradient. And the ending color is going to be white as well. Let's move it a bit far. Okay, this is perfect. And here I'm going to provide an opacity of 40%, 40 to this as well, and this is going to be 50%. So this looks quite fine. Now to provide a glass effect, what you can do is you can provide a stroke of weight 0.4 and the color is going to be white. So write FF, it will take the white color. So now we are done with the initial designing of this nav bar. Let's put some content inside it and learn how we can enhance the look of this nav bar. So let's grab a text and place it on this nav bar frame. Let me first rename this. I'm going to write nav bar. It is great. Now let's take a text and place it over here, and I'm here going to write Futura, and here I'm going to write /shoes. Let's increase the font to 21. Let me zoom it a bit so that you can see it better. Now let's use this alignment tool to align it properly, and let's reduce the size of this. It is just a designing part, you can always enhance it however you like. So for the text size here, I'm going to say 11. 11 is quite small, we should not use 11. I guess 14 will work fine. Yes, 14 is fine. Let's align it and place it over here. Now I'm going to grab a text again for the navigation links, and here I'm going to write home. Let's increase the font to 16 and font weight to regular. Let's copy this, write here collections, copy it again and write newly launched, if I can spell it correctly. Now select all the text and hit the right key and provide an auto layout. what you can also do is you can select the text, and in the layout you're going to press this right button which says use auto layout. So now auto layout has been provided. Let's increase the gap to 60. So this gap has been increased to 60. Now let's use the alignment tool to place it at the center. So it is at the center. I also want to place it at vertically center. So place it. Now it is done. Now we need a button over here. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm again going to grab a text. Now what I have observed in the beginners is whenever they are creating a button, they use a rectangle. If you are creating a button, there is a shortcut for you, and that is what I'm going to show you now. So to create a button, what you can do is you can write your text as shop now and then select the text and add auto layout. Now let's change the padding. The horizontal padding is going to be 22 and the vertical padding is going to be 12. Let me provide a fill color so that you can see it, and let's change the color of this text, which is going to be this dark text, and from regular it is going to be semi bold. Align it and now provide the corner radius to this button. The corner radius is going to be 32, so this looks perfect to me. Now if you change the font size of this text, let's say we make it 20, the button size will also increase. So this is the benefit of using the auto layout as a button instead of using a rectangle. Well, let's go back. And now we are done with the navbar. But one thing is remaining, that is we are on the home page and we need to denote that we are on the home page. So for that, let's select this home and again provide auto layout to this. Let's fill it and provide a padding of, let's say, 4 and 4. Well, horizontally 4 is not quite right, so let's provide a padding of 2. 2 is also a lot, so let's provide a padding of 0. Let's change the color of this home text. For that, I'm going to select this primary color. Well, the box is quite small. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch it a little bit so that it fits perfectly. And here in the width, I'm going to say hug content. Now let's provide a vertical padding of 2, maybe 3. 3 looks great. So this is all an iterative part where you see the design and do your changes and you see them again in order to fix them correctly. Now let's change the color of this background. But first let's provide a corner radius, let's say 30, and then change the color of this fill. I'm going to provide an opacity of 40 and the color is going to be white again. So now it is clearly visible and it also denotes that we are on the home page. Now if you look closely, there is something odd about this home. This home does not look quite aligned in this box. So for that, what you can do is just click it over here and reduce the size to this. And we can also reduce the auto height and let's increase the padding. Well, yes, now it looks much better. Reduce the opacity to 20. So yeah, this is much better. And we can also provide padding. I already told you this is an iterative part and you need to learn by doing things. So now this looks perfect to me. Now let's move to the next part of this design. For that, let's take a look of our desktop frame. So this looks great. Now we need hero text. For that, let's grab text and place it over here and write Futura. I know it is not visible, so let's increase the font size to 160. From regular, it is going to be semi bold, and this line height is going to be auto. Okay, this is good. Now to place this perfectly, what we can do is we can use something called guidelines. To enable guidelines, what you can do is you need to go here which says layout grid, click over here, and in the grid settings choose the columns, and in the columns count provide 60. Well, this seems perfect to me. You can also change it, but this is what I use. Now let's change the font of this Futura. For that I'm going to write Orbitron. So this is our font. Let's place it over here, aligning it with this rectangle over here. You can also turn this layout grid off by going over here and clicking on this eye icon. But right now I want to keep it just to be perfectly aligned. Now let's select this text and send it to back. Now this looks great. Select it again, copy paste, and here we are going to write shoes, and I'm going to place it on the front. So place it here and let's align it with this rectangle over here, just as we did with the Futura text. Now it's time for some description text. So for that, what you can do is you can go to a website which is Lorem Ipsum, and here select this much of text. Go to Figma, select our text and place it over here. Let's first change the font of this text. For that I'm going to use outfit again, and it is going to be regular of size 16. Now let's zoom it, place it here and align it perfectly. I'm going to provide an opacity of 70. So now this looks good. We can also put it in the back of the shoes. And now we need some buttons. For that, again I'm going to take text. Note that I'm not using a rectangle, but I'm using a text to create my buttons. And here I'm going to write shop now again. Now select this text and provide an auto layout. Fill it with a color. Let's change the color to dark blue. And from regular it is going to be semi bold, and the size is going to be 16 only. Now we need to provide the padding. For that, what we can do, we can provide padding from here. So for the horizontal padding I'm going to provide 20, and for the vertical padding I'm going to provide 12, and for the corner radius it is going to be 32. So now this looks perfect. Let's place it by aligning it over here. Copy and paste this again because we need one more button over here. Let's change the text first. For that I'm going to write our collections. Let me zoom it. And now I'm going to remove this fill color, but I'm going to provide a stroke of white color and weight 2. The text color is also going to be white so that it is clearly visible. Well, weight 2 is quite large. Let's reduce it to 1. Yeah, 1 looks good. So now that part is done. Now the next part is we need some social media icons over here to provide social details so that user can go to Instagram, Facebook and Twitter page of this company. So for that, let's grab icons first. I'm going to use a plugin which is Iconify. If you don't have it, you can go to manage plugins and here write Iconify. Well, I already have it, so I'm going to all and run it. And now from here I'm going to get all my social icons. So let me fast forward this process. So now we have our icons over here. So let's take them to this frame. Place them here randomly. And now we need a frame to place them inside it. For that, let's take a frame, provide a fill color, and it is going to be a width of 42. and a height of 42 as well. You can also clip it so that if you change one value, the other value will be changed same as this value. So let's go back to 42 and also provide a corner radius of 42. This will convert it into a circle. Place it over here, and now let's place our icon one by one. So now our icons has been placed. I guess we can increase the gap between these logos. So for that, let's select all of them and provide an auto layout by clicking on this icon. Well, you can also use Shift A shortcut to provide auto layout, or what you can do is you can right click and provide auto layout from here as well. So let's increase the size to 12. Align it with the text. Now let's take this text, and here I'm going to write our socials. Well, it is not going to be this big. Reduce it to 22 and place it over here. So yeah, the overall look of this website is quite good. Now what we can do is we can turn off this layout grid. Let's turn it off by using this eye icon. So this has been turned off. Now let's take this design to a new level by providing some more styling to this design. For that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a frame, fill it, and I'm going to clip it, and the height is going to be 42. Corner radius is also going to be 42 so that it becomes a circle. And now I need a picture to put inside this. For that, right click and select a plugin which is Unsplash. Now here you can type profile. Now select a picture. Let's take this one, and this has been filled in this frame very well. Now I need to provide some border to this frame so that it is visible. So the stroke is going to be white and weight is going to be 2. Position is going to be outside. Now let's copy paste this couple times. So yeah, this looks perfect. Let's group them together. So let's call them avatars, and now we need a text, and here I'm going to write 2 lakhs. You can also use this font. Reduce the size of the font. Weight is correct. Let's take another text, and here we will write trusted customers. Let's change the font to outfit, regular, and the size is going to be this much only. Now group them as well. Select both the groups and provide an auto layout to them. Let's place it over here. And now this looks quite great. But we can elevate the design a bit more by using some lines. So for that, press L on your keyboard and draw a line like this. Let me zoom it. So here we have a line. I'm going to provide a weight of, let's say, 2. So this is our line. And let's change the angle to 0 degrees. So now it is perfect. Now for the color part, I'm going to provide a gradient, and here I'm going to provide a white color with a 0 opacity. So this will create a brush stroke like effect, as you can see over here. Let's change the width of this line. For the width, I'm going to write 622, align it, copy it, and place it over here. And place one more over here. Let's send it to back. This one also send to back. and this looks quite great. Let me align this. Now press Alt to check the gap. So 34 and 33.9, which is 34. So now this looks quite great. We are going to use this line couple of times to enhance the view. Now let me fast forward this process and you can also follow along. So let's place a couple of more lines to fill the empty spaces. So now it is done. Now the last part that we have here is to place this element on our design. So let's copy it. By the way, I got it from the Figma community. You can always get interesting asset from there. So let's go to our desktop, zoom it and place it randomly. Let's rotate it a bit. Place it over here. Press K in order to change the size of this element. Hold Shift and then reduce the size. So here it looks perfect. Let's change the angle a bit. So yeah, this is perfect now. Let's copy it again. Place it over here. Increase the size. Transform it. And send it to back. Let me adjust the size. So yes, this is done. Let's see how it looks. So as you can see, this design is done and it looks quite interesting and it also looks quite beautiful. So this is how we have accomplished our goal. And if you have followed me and created a design, then consider sending it to the Telegram group or directly to my Instagram. I'll be more than happy to look at your designs and learn from it. Thank you very much for watching this video. We will meet in the next one.